innocent or guilty, criminal or citizen, that could get them anytime for any crime. Say, look, if it say, sir, did you see such and such do such and such and such? Oh, wait a minute. Only time. The only time.
Show me one place in the federal guidelines where you can have 10 machine and get 1 year of community service and 1 year incarcerated.
See what I'm saying? But they talking about, they try to use that I need to order protection, but why it feels like I'm the out here then? If I needed protection, you needed protection, and your protection gone.
Welcome back to Juicy Real, where we break down the wildest feuds, the scandals the industry doesn't want you to forget, and the drama that keeps hip-hop boiling. 50 Cent has never been the type to stay quiet, and this time he lit the internet on fire by going straight at T.I. He jumped on Instagram and blasted him, calling T.I. a Hollywood mutt.
Like, you see a snitch, slap him when you see him, knock his nose off. So the next time I'm out, instead of asking for a picture like a little hoe ass, come on, knock my nose out if you think I'm a snitch. Come on, quit smiling in my face trying to get in my section. Oh, play with me, think you're talking to. Play with your name. King never gave no information to get anybody in no but now time with no police. If I am working with the police, it'll be to get him to shoot. You talking about?
That shot instantly had people asking if the Atlanta legend had really lost touch with his roots. According to 50, T.I. wasn't the same hustler turned rapper who once carried the South on his back. Instead, he was too busy chasing acting gigs, walking red carpets, and popping up in comedy roles. To 50, that shift meant one thing. T.I. had turned his back on hip-hop's core, the street credibility that built his name.
When they want to try, like, even for me personally, my character, they would try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat or he just a snap.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask him who I told on.
Paperwork.
I ain't never told on no in my life.
Yeah.
In the Prem situation, look at this case. It'll tell you who told on.
Right.
My name in it.
Fans split instantly. Some said 50 was just hating, but others claimed he was exposing the cold truth about T.I. chasing Hollywood relevance. Some people said 50 was just stirring up smoke for clout, but he wasn't finished. Not even close. Instead of backing off, he went even harder, digging straight into T.I.'s past and dragging out the old whispers that he once cooperated with law enforcement. Those rumors had been floating since the late 2000s, all tied to T.Y.'s infamous 2007 Crimestoppers PSA. 50 made sure those whispers didn't die.
I said, how you feel when them New York like 50 and all them niggas trying to do all of those?
I'ma tell you something. When you're fighting a man with no arms, expect to get kicked.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Some people call me Tip, but this is about another.
He mocked him nonstop, even reposting the PSA clip where Tip looked into the camera and urged people to report crimes. For T.I., that wasn't just a playful jab. It was a full-on strike at his credibility in a culture where street loyalty is everything. What made it sting even more?
The kind of tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you gotta do is call Crimestoppers Atlanta. Tips can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crimestoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIP. Channel 2, Community Care.
50 and T.I. weren't always enemies. Back in the day, they were cool, even collaborating musically while branching out into business moves beyond rap. But everything changed after T.I. got hit with that massive federal gun case in 2007, and that's where the trust broke down. T.I. was facing decades behind bars for machine guns and silencers, but instead of disappearing for years, he shocked the world with what looked like a slap on the wrist. A little house arrest, some community service, and a short prison bid. That was it. For the hip-hop community, especially for guys like 50 who came up in a culture where the street code was everything, it didn't make sense at all. How could somebody walk away so clean from charges that heavy? Suspicion spread fast, and 50 couldn't resist fanning the flames. He even said other rappers saw it too, but kept quiet, calling them a bunch of before cutting himself off, letting the audience fill in the blanks. And then came the PSA. Watching T.I. on camera telling people to cooperate with police was like pouring gasoline on the fire. To many, it stamped him as a snitch, and 50 knew exactly how to twist the knife. He threw slick wordplay into G-Unit's track, "You so tough," hinting that T.I. must have cut a deal to dodge real time. He never mentioned T.I. by name, but the fans didn't need it spelled out. Everybody knew. The implication landed heavy, and it stuck to Tip's image like glue. Anytime 50 wanted to clown somebody for being soft or suspect, that Crimestoppers clip was right there, waiting to be dragged back into the spotlight. What makes this feud even crazier is that T.I. wasn't about to just sit there and take the punches. He came swinging back, calling 50 out and challenging him to a 20-song versus battle on 50's own birthday, no less. He flipped the script, saying if 50 thought he had so much dirt on him, then prove it by going catalog to catalog, hit for hit, in front of the world. But 50, the king of petty, wasn't letting him get away that easy. Instead of focusing on the music, he doubled down on the snitch narrative, reposting that infamous PSA clip every chance he got. And when Tekashi 6ix9ine's case had snitching dominating headlines, 50 jumped on it again, reminding everyone of T.I.'s old video and tying him right into the biggest conversations about loyalty in hip-hop. T.I. clapped back hard, brushing it off and saying the accusations were cute but weak. He flipped it right back, claiming the real problem was 50 trying to distract people from his own skeletons in the closet. Then he really turned up the heat, taunting 50's entire legacy, saying the Queens rapper had one hot album and a whole lot of trash after that. The disrespect was bold, and instead of cooling things down, it made the fire even bigger. Every move between these two turned into pure spectacle. Social media posts, interviews, podcasts. Their beef was like a never-ending rap soap opera, and people couldn't stop watching. Fans kept asking the same burning question. Was 50 really exposing something legit about T.I.'s past? Or was this just another masterclass in trolling from one of hip-hop's greatest instigators? I wasn't about to let his name get dragged without clapping back. That's when the war of words with 50 hit a whole new level. After 50 resurfaced the Crimestoppers video, Tip went live with comedian K-Dub Walker, then later hopped on the Big Facts podcast, and he made it crystal clear. He never, under any circumstances, gave law enforcement information on anybody. According to him, that PSA was nothing more than a court-ordered PR stunt, something his lawyers arranged while he was staring down decades in federal prison. But here's the problem. In hip-hop, perception is everything. Once that snitch label gets stuck on you, it's almost impossible to shake it off. And 50, he knew exactly how to use it as a weapon. He reposted, laughed, and kept telling fans the math just didn't add up. Because let's be real, most people caught with military-grade weapons don't skate away with a year and some community service. Fans started connecting the dots too, pointing out that even one illegal gun usually means a decade behind bars. So how did Tip manage to dodge heavy time with 30+ weapons in his case? The streets were left side-eyeing and whispering. Something didn't feel right. Those suspicions gave 50 all the ammo he needed to keep poking the bear. He even hinted that T.I. lost out on the role of Davis McClain in Power because of their beef, a claim Tip quickly denied. But that's classic 50. He knows how to throw dirt in a way that sticks. Whether it's true or not, Tip wasn't folding though. He tried to flip the pressure into opportunity, doubling down on pushing for that Visage showdown. Every insult became fuel. Every accusation turned into promotion as he dared 50 to step into the ring musically. Instead of running from old scandals, T.I. kept hammering at 50's catalog, calling Get Rich or Die Tryin' his only classic and mocking the rest of his career as irrelevant. That's where the beef got even juicier. 50 clowned T.I. for the past, but Tip threw it right back, pointing at 50's stalled out music career and saying he hadn't been hot in years. It was offense, not defense, and it kept T.I. from looking cornered. He basically told 50, if you really want smoke, Let's make it public and let the fans decide whose music really holds weight. But 50 wasn't budging. Instead of stepping into a friendly versus, he doubled down on the same narrative, that T.I.'s credibility was permanently stained. And just when things were already heated, another spark hit the fire. After the tragic death of Chicago rapper King Von in November 2020, Tip posted a message telling outsiders to stop bringing violence to Atlanta and to handle their beefs in their own cities. He probably thought he was promoting peace, but the timing couldn't have been worse. Von's family and fans were deep in grief, and to them, Tip's words came off cold, almost like he was trying to distance Atlanta from the tragedy instead of showing love. King Von's sister, Kayla, was furious. She blasted T.I. for inserting himself into something so raw, and of course, 50 wasn't about to let that slide. He quickly reposted her words and told Tip straight up to chill out, calling him out for being out of line during such a sensitive time. For 50, this was more proof that Tip had a habit of talking when he shouldn't, and making himself look bad in the process. It added another messy layer to their feud, shifting it beyond old legal scandals into a bigger pattern of T.I. putting himself in situations where his words worked against him. But here's what really makes this beef cut deep. It's not just about clout or trolling, it's about legacy. Both of these men are heavyweights in hip-hop. 50 built an empire through music, business, and TV, turning himself into a global brand. Meanwhile, Tip carved out his lane as one of the South's kings, pushing trap music into the mainstream. So when 50 accuses Tip of being fake, it's not just an insult, it's a direct challenge to everything T.I. stands for. And when Tip fires back by clowning 50's career, he's really saying, you're not the giant you think you are anymore. It's pride versus pride, ego versus ego, and the fans are stuck in the crossfire. Some roll with 50, saying he's just saying out loud what people have been whispering about T.I. for years. Others defend Tip, pointing out that 50 has his own skeletons and hides them by taking shots at everyone else. The truth might sit somewhere in the middle, but what's crystal clear is that neither man is backing down. Every time it looks like the feud might die out, something fresh sets it off again. An old video pops back up, a random podcast comment goes viral, or a shady social media post kicks off another round of insults. It almost feels like neither one of them actually wants peace, because deep down, they know this drama keeps their names buzzing in a game that forgets people quick. What really keeps the 50 Cent and T.I. feud alive is how both refuse to let the other escape clean. Anytime Tip tries to clear his name, 50 twists the knife all over again. Like when T.I. went on record saying he never snitched, never testified, never gave law enforcement info on anyone. 50 didn't even bother debating the details. He just dropped that Crimestoppers clip one more time, knowing the image alone was enough to spark doubt in people's minds. That's pure 50 style. He doesn't need to prove a thing. He plants seeds, lets the internet run wild, and watches the chaos unfold. Meanwhile, T.I. stays on defense, hopping on interviews, podcasts, and IG lives trying to explain the whole situation was misunderstood. I kept insisting it wasn't about cooperating. It was about handling legal obligations to dodge a harsher sentence. But here's the problem. In hip-hop, snitching accusations don't fade easy. Even if there's no paperwork, just the idea that you might have cut a deal is enough to scar your reputation forever. And 50 knows that all too well. That's why he never lets up. For him, it's the perfect weapon to keep T.I. off balance while proving to the culture that he's still the undisputed master of beef. But this back and forth also exposes something bigger about hip-hop itself. For decades, authenticity has been the real currency of the streets. You can have platinum hits, sell out arenas, or star in movies. But if people believe you broke the code, none of it matters. That's why the Crimestoppers PSA still haunts T.I. to this day. Nearly 20 years later, it stands as a symbol, not just of his legal case, but of how fast your image can flip in this game. Fans compare his light sentence to other rappers who got slammed with 10+ years for less, and to them, it feels like something doesn't add up. Maybe it was brilliant lawyers, maybe it was something else. Either way, the streets never fully bought it. On the flip side though, plenty argue that 50's no saint either. They say he's got his own questionable history, and some even flip the script, clowning 50 as a mouse and hinting that maybe he too has secrets the public doesn't know about. That's exactly what makes this feud so addictive. Both men have power, influence, and messy histories, and neither one is clean enough to fully expose the other without risking dirt getting thrown right back. So where does that leave us? Stuck in the middle of a feud that's as much about perception as it is about facts. That keeps pushing for a versus battle, insisting music is the best way to settle the score. Meanwhile, 50 keeps dodging it, knowing the spectacle of the feud is more valuable than an actual showdown. And every time that Crimestoppers clip resurfaces, every time Tip fires back, every time fans debate whether either one is truly solid, the saga only grows louder. And maybe that's the whole play. In today's game, beef sells almost as much as music. Both 50 and T gain from keeping this war alive. 50 gets to remind everyone he's still the most ruthless instigator hip-hop has ever seen, while T proves he won't fold, no matter how many times his past gets thrown back in his face. So whether you believe T broke the code, or think he's just the victim of a never-ending smear campaign, one thing's undeniable. This feud isn't dying anytime soon. It's hip-hop history happening in real time. Two legends clashing, not just for pride, but for how they'll be remembered when the smoke finally clears. And if you want to keep catching all the wildest rap drama as it unfolds, make sure you hit subscribe to Juicy Reel. We've got plenty more heat coming your way. And at the end of the day, that's what makes this whole saga so raw. It's not just about bars, it's about legacy. Now it's on you. What's your take on this beef? Is 50 Cent exposing the real truth about T.Y.'s past, or is he just being petty and milking an old rumor for clout? Do you think Tip's light sentence was proof of cooperation, or just the result of powerhouse lawyers doing their job? And here's the million-dollar question. If they ever did face off in a versus battle, who's walking away with the crown, the South's Trap King or Queen's ultimate bully? The stage is set, but the answer depends on what you believe. Then drop your thoughts in the comments and let's spark this debate. And if you've been rocking with this breakdown, make sure you hit that subscribe button to Juicy Reel. Smash that like, share this with your people, and let us know exactly where you stand in hip-hop's never-ending drama. We've got even more wild stories, deep dives, and hidden truths coming, so tap that bell and stay locked in. You do not want to miss what's next.